尊敬的各位听众、嘉宾朋友们，大家晚上好啊。那么如果你们在国内的话呢，就是早上好。非常荣幸今天有机会请到了加拿大驻华前大使麦加连阁下，为我们一起分享他对加中局势的最新的一些见解。同时呢，第二部分我们有一个非常精彩的 panel。那么在座的各位呢，包括Robert K 先生，他是之前的加拿大的国家商业集团的董事长。如果大家对这个公司不是很熟悉，它相当于中国的保利。那么加拿大对外的所有的大宗的交易都是由这个集团完成的。那么 Jason Flonday 先生呢，他是加拿大最大的在线医生和护士培训的教育平台。那么现在的话呢，他已经进入了22个国家，培训全球22万医生和护士以及医护人员。那么这次活动的话呢，是由加中私募基金协会和郑和岛加拿大分部共同主办的。我呢仅代表加中私募基金协会欢迎大家并且呢跟大家分享一下加中私募基金协会的宗旨。我们是坚定的为加拿大和中国企业家的投资合作提供最佳的基础设施服务同时呢为加中私募基金和加拿大中国资本市场一体化的完成而不懈努力。接下来呢，我想让白女士她在温哥华简单介绍一下郑和岛，然后我们就进入今天的主题，请大使先生开始今天的主题演讲。凯莉。
Thank you, Richard. Honorable John McCollum, Mr. K, and Mr. Flowerday, welcome everyone. We are very honored to have you with us today. I'm Kelly Bai from China-Hawkbridge International Canada Association. Some people may already know China-Hawkbridge, and we also have quite a large number of members of China-Hawkbridge today as our audience. To those people who don't know China-Hawkbridge, I'll give you a very short introduction. China-Hawkbridge is the leading high-end social network platform for business leaders in China. It was established by Mr. Liu Donghua. He is also the founder of China Entrepreneur Club. China-Hawkbridge International Canada Association is the Canadian chapter of China-Hawkbridge. Our main mission is to build a network of Canadian businesses linked with the massive mainland China market and vice versa. Our keynote speaker today, the Honorable John McCollum, is the new chairman of China-Hawkbridge International Canada Association, and we believe under his leadership, we will fulfill our mission successfully. The world is facing a crisis right now. We believe after the keynote speech and the panel discussion, we might be able to find a silver lining. We look forward to hearing everybody's valuable opinions. 各位嘉宾大家好，感谢大家在周末时间抽时间参加这个活动。我是郑和岛加拿大分部的白科。国内的很多嘉宾也许已经非常了解郑和岛了。今天也有很多郑和岛的岛亲来参加这个活动，像一文集团的夏华总、郑和岛执行总裁史传总。在此呢，我就不一一点名介绍了。对不了解的郑和岛的朋友们，我就做1-2句简单介绍。郑和岛是中国商界高端企业家深度社交平台和供需对接平台。如今平台上汇集了7000多家1级以上的企业。创始人刘东华先生也是著名的中国企业家俱乐部的创始人。我们郑和岛加拿大分支机构的任务是为国内企业家创造一个与加拿大商业机构链接的平台。今天的演讲嘉宾，前加拿大驻华大使麦加连阁下是郑和岛加拿大分支机构的新一届主席。我们相信麦加连阁下的加入会带领我们更好地完成这个任务。现在是个危机的时刻，危机是否危中也有机？疫情后的国际形势如何？中美中加关系该向何处走？在这种复杂的新形势下，国际贸易、国际投资的新思路、新模式是什么？期待接下来麦加连阁下的精彩演讲和之后的圆桌讨论，能让我们找到一些答案。好，我的讲话到此结束，谢谢。
Thanks, Kelly. So next is the critical part for today's seminar, and I hope Honorable Ambassador Mike Collin, you can take it over.
Thank you. 大家早上好，你的早上我的晚上。今天我很高兴参加这个活动和大家交流。我希望你们明白我的中文，但是我的中文不太好，所以我说英语。So I will shift to English now. And with the help of my colleague, Patty Shao, for interpretation, let me just begin by saying that it is a great honor and a pleasure to be speaking to you today. My only regret is that we have to do it by video conference rather than face-to-face in China.
我很荣幸能今天有这个机会和大家一起交流。我是多么的希望这次交流是大家一起面对面的，而不是通过视频会议的方式。
So my wife and I spent 2 happy years in China, and during that time I visited 22 provinces. And so I hope very much to get back to China soon, and virus permitting, perhaps it could be in September of this year.
我和我的太太在中国度过了2年欢乐的时光。在这2年里，我走遍了中国22个省份。我们很怀念这个地方。我希望在新冠疫情稳定下来的情况下，能尽快回来中国，也许可能是在今年的9月份。
I might say, however, that I do have a little piece of China in my own family, because not only is my wife Chinese, but in the last 2 to 3 years, all 3 of our sons married Chinese women. And so now we have 2 little baby grandchildren who are 3/4 Chinese.
不过我可以说，我在我的家庭里能看到中国的身影。不仅仅我的太太是华人，而且我们的3个儿子在过去的2、3年的时间里，前后都娶了中国太太。所以我们现在有一对孙子和孙女，他们都有1/4华人的血统。
At a time when the world is more uncertain and upside down than any time in my lifetime, I'd like to begin by talking to you about international relations, beginning with China-United States and then moving on to China-Canada. And then I'd like to talk about the global economy in the context of the coronavirus.
现在世界正处于我一生中所经历的最不确定、最颠覆的、最颠倒的一个时刻。我想先谈谈国际的关系，从中美关系开始，然后到中加的关系，最后我会讲讲新冠疫情以及它对全球经济的影响。
Now, I think if an alien virus from outer space were to attack the planet Earth, we would hope that the countries on this planet would put aside their differences and work together to defeat this common enemy.
假如邪恶的外星人是一个以病毒的这样形式从外太空袭击了地球，人们会希望地球上的各个国家会把彼此的争端和分歧放在一边，共同协力去对抗这个共同的敌人。
Well, sadly, I think exactly the opposite has happened, and U.S.-China relations are so bad nowadays that people are talking about a Cold War, and I do think this is likely to last for some time because basically the United States and China are competing to be top dog in the world, and that competition will not be resolved anytime soon.
可是可悲的是，事实却恰恰相反。如今中美关系如此的糟糕，以至于有些人已经说，两国已经进入了冷战的状态。我认为中美关系在相当长的时间内都会非常困难。这主要是因为两国都在争当世界第一，而这种竞争的关系不会在短时间内得到解决。
So where does that leave Canada? Well, I think Canada-China relations will be positive going forward. For one thing, Canada is not in the position to compete to be top dog in the world.
那么加拿大的处境如何呢？我乐观地认为中加关系还是会积极地向前发展。第一个原因是加拿大不是在竞争世界第一的位置。
And it's certainly true Canada has issues with the Chinese government on our 2 detainees and on the Meng Wanzhou issue, but that hasn't stopped the 2 countries working well together for the coronavirus. And I don't think these problems are of the same long-term nature that the issues involving China and the United States.
是的，我们与中国政府一直存在某些问题和分歧包括被拘留的2位加拿大人和孟晚舟女士的问题但这并没有阻止两国在新冠病毒相关的问题上的一个良好的合作关系，而且这些问题都不是中美两国面临的那种长期的挑战。
I also think there's a history of friendship between Chinese people and Canadian people, or in Mandarin, 真的人和中国人是好朋友. And so we see that not only with famous friends like Norman Bethune and Pierre Trudeau, but many other people as well.
我也认为中国和加拿大人民之间有着深厚的历史友谊。刚才加拿大大使也用普通话说了一下加拿大人和中国人是好朋友。这不仅包括大家很熟悉的像白求恩、皮埃尔·特鲁多和大山这样的朋友，还包括了很多其他人。
I'll give you just one example of another friend. A Chinese friend and client of mine is planning to manufacture millions of masks in his factory in Canada and not make any profit, but do it as a contribution to Canada's struggle against the coronavirus. And that clearly is an act of friendship.
我举个例子我的一位中国的朋友，也是我的客户，正计划在他的加拿大工厂生产几百万个口罩不计利润是以支持加拿大对抗新冠疫情，这是有益之举。
Now, I've been a minister and an ambassador, so I certainly know that governments are important. But I do think friendship can make a difference. If the government policy is positive, friendship can reinforce that. If the government policy is negative, people-to-people ties and friendship can mitigate or alleviate the negative impacts.
作为前内阁部长和大使，我明白政府的重要性但我认为友谊和人与人之间的这种紧密的这种联系和关系也可以发挥作用。如果政府的政策是积极的，那么可以通过强大的友谊来加强；如果政府的政策是负面的，那么也可以通过这种友谊和这种人与人之间的这种紧密的联系来减少和缓解这个负面影响。
Now, while there will certainly be delays because of the coronavirus, I am firmly of the view that Canada will remain welcoming to Chinese companies coming to Canada to invest, and also to Chinese people, tourists, immigrants, and students will continue to be welcome.
虽然很多活动会因为新冠疫情而有所延误，但我有信心加拿大将继续欢迎中国投资者来加拿大投资，同时也欢迎中国人、来自中国的留学生、游客和移民。
So I think Chinese investment will be welcome in all but the most sensitive sectors. And I'd remind you that Canada has free trade agreements with the United States and Europe and Asia Pacific. So if you locate in Canada, you can trade with the world.
我认为除了部分敏感的行业，加拿大欢迎中国企业在加投资。值得提醒大家的是，加拿大与美国、欧洲和亚太地区都签有自由贸易协定，所以加拿大的投资者可以和全世界进行贸易活动。
I also think that as the United States becomes less welcoming to Chinese investment and Chinese people, that Canada can become a preferred destination.
我也认为，随着美国对中国投资和中国人员的欢迎度降低，加拿大可以成为首选的目的地。
For example, to give another example from one of my clients is planning on making high-tech investments in Canada to create something of a Canadian Silicon Valley. And I think they feel that Canada is more welcoming than the United States, and it's also much cheaper in Canada than it is in the Silicon Valley.
例如，我的一个客户正在加拿大推进高科技行业的投资，打造加拿大硅谷中心。他们认为加拿大不仅比美国更加欢迎中国的投资，而且加拿大的成本要比硅谷低得很多。
So if you are considering an investment in Canada, you might want to contact me. My law firm, Macmillan, can provide legal advice and also in every other area that you will need in order to establish yourself successfully in Canada.
如果您的公司正在考虑在加拿大投资，欢迎您联系我。我的另外一个身份是加拿大律所 Macmillan 律师事务所的高级顾问。律所不仅在法律咨询方面有着是非常专业的，而且在政府关系和其他涉及您在加拿大投资创业所需的各方各面都是首屈一指的。
On a less happy topic, the coronavirus has been deadly to the lives and the livelihoods of many people around the world. At the moment, I think there are about 7 million cases worldwide, and almost 400,000 people have already died.
新冠病毒已经对全世界的数百万人的生命和生活造成了非常大的影响。目前全球已经有近700万例的确诊病例，近40万人死亡。
Canada currently has about almost 100,000 cases, but the daily increase is going down at a fairly quick rate. But every country in the world is struggling with the question of how fast they should open their economy. And all of us are very worried about the possibility of a second wave in the autumn of this year.
加拿大目前有近10万例确诊病例，不过每天新增的病例呈现下降的趋势。每个国家大家都非常的努力解决如何尽快复工和经济复苏的问题。同时呢，大家也在担心今年的秋天会不会有第二波的疫情爆发。
So in terms of the economic impact, according to the IMF, global GDP will drop by 3% in this year, 2020. GDP of advanced countries will drop by 6.1%, and China GDP will go up by 1.2%.
根据 IMF 的数据，2020年全球的 GDP 预计会下降3%，发达国家的 GDP 会下降6.1%，中国的 GDP 会增长1.2%。
Now, the IMF projects a moderate bounce back next year in 2021, with GDP in advanced countries growing by about 5% and growing by 9% in China.
同时，预计明年会有适度的反弹，也就是2021年预计发达国家 GDP 会上升增长5%左右，而中国会增长9%。
Now, I think whether these forecasts, whether you think these forecasts are too optimistic or too pessimistic, I think depends on two things. First of all, how strong and how tricky is the virus? And second, how clever and well organized are the people of this planet in fighting that virus?
这些经济预测是过于乐观呢，还是过于悲观呢？主要是取决于2点。就是第一是病毒到底是有多强大、多狡猾；第二点就是世界人民是有多聪明，或者是多坚决和团结的去抵抗这个病毒。
Now, success in fighting the virus has certainly varied from country to country, and certainly also the world will breathe a collective sigh of relief if and when a vaccine is developed.
各国应对病毒的方法和成功率各有不同。当世界各国合作研发出疫苗的那一刻，我们大家都会松一口气。
Now, large global shocks throughout history have affected the world in major ways, some good, some bad, and always difficult to predict.
全球性的大震荡可以持久的改变世界，有好有坏，难以预测。
It's one thing that I think is pretty certain is that there will be some retreat from globalization as countries will place a higher priority on security and continuity relative to efficiency.
有一点可以确定的是，全球化可能会出现一些倒退，因为各国会更加重视供应链的安全，而对效率的重视度会降低。
I would also hope that the countries of the world will put a major priority on that other big priority that we face, which is climate change, as they develop the economic recovery in the aftermath of the coronavirus. And I think in that regard, Germany seems to be leading the way.
希望随着世界经济的复苏，也同时可以解决另外的一个关键的全球的一个问题，也就是气候变化。而德国在气候变化这一方面呢，处于领先的地位。
Now, I am an optimist at heart, so I'd like to end with a relatively positive scenario.
我骨子里是一个乐观主义者，所以请允许我再以一个比较相对积极的一个愿景来结束这一环节的分享。
Now, given the state of opinion polls in the United States and given the state of the US these days, I am reasonably confident, although one can never be sure, that the United States will elect Joe Biden as president and that he will be sworn in January of next year.
鉴于美国的民意调查和美国现在处于的一个整体的一个状况，我有理由相信，虽然说不能100%保证，拜登有一定的可能性，成为明年1月宣誓成为美国总统。
Now, this would certainly not solve every global problem, but I think it would bring an important element of sanity to US leadership. And also, it would bring strength to global collective leadership.
当这当然不能解决所有的全球性的一些问题，但我认为这将给美国以及全球的政治领导人带来一份理性和力量的元素。
I think that President Biden would be able to work with the leaders of other countries, including China, to shape an acceptable future for the globe.
我认为，如果拜登能成为美国总统的话，他能够与包括中国在内的其他国家领导人合作，塑造一个大家都可以接受的未来。
He would certainly work strongly with other countries on climate change, and I think he would also work to reduce income inequalities in the United States.
他肯定会与其他国家大力的合作，应对气候变化，而且他可能会采取一系列的措施，减少美国的贫富差距。
I also think that the United States and China could work together in a spirit of compromise to avoid the kind of conflict and radical decoupling that would be so harmful to the world.
我还认为美国和中国可以本着妥协的精神进行合作，避免那种对整个世界具有破坏性的冲突和激进的脱钩。
In the meanwhile, I am confident that the coronavirus that we in Canada will deal with it effectively and that we will continue to welcome Chinese companies and Chinese people to our country.
同时，我希望和相信加拿大会比较顺利的从新冠疫情中恢复过来。我们将继续欢迎中国企业和中国朋友来我们国家。
And at a personal level, I look forward to many future trips to China in the future. Thank you all very much. 谢谢大家。
而我自己呢，是非常期待，在不久的将来能经常的前往中国。谢谢大家。
Thank you, Mr. Colum. It was very impressive, and thank you, Patty. Your translation is fabulous. So this is a very warm start, and all of a sudden I feel your speech melting some of the snow, not all of the snow, but at least a lot of the snows between Canada and China. And I hope that inspiration can give courage and give more confidence and comfort for the audience and for our friends who trust China, who trust Canada, and who trust Canadians. Okay, so although we're not sitting on the same table or same room, but I assume that the four very distinguished Canadian leaders and business entrepreneurs, assuming we sit on one podium, and I'm gonna take a turn to, lead some questions, and I will help you briefly translate, probably not word by word, not as good a job as Patty did for John, but I hope in this way we can keep the flow. At the meantime, that to have you the chance to express the key messages you hope to deliver. So we'll let John to just have a quick small break. Probably let's start with Curtis. I think the first question is, maybe not every audience heard of MyOvision, and I will just very quickly speak in Chinese, and then so just give a very little background, but probably you can just tell the audience about MyOvision, about yourself, and also about your global ambition, especially related to China. 那么我刚才说呢，大使先生呢讲得非常精彩。希望呢他的讲话尽管不能够融化全部的中加之间信任的坚冰，但是最起码可以把上面的表层的雪融化掉。那么接下来呢，尽管我和几位加拿大非常优秀的企业家和政治经济的领导人物我们不在一个房间，但是假设我们都坐在一个台上，然后呢我会兼办主持人还有翻译的角色，但我不会一句白一句的去翻译，不会像刚才的 Patty 女士这么细致的去翻译，但是希望能够把一些核心的观点表达给大家。那么我刚才问 Curtis 先生，就是加拿大最大的也是全球比较领军的一个智能十字路口交通灯还有这个智慧城市解决方案的一个科技公司那么这个公司的话呢现在已经接近5个亿美金的估值然后呢在全球服务17000个城市。那么接下来请 Curtis 先生给大家一个简单的介绍。Go ahead, Curtis.
Thank you, Richard, and thank you everybody for making the time to be on this webinar today. It's great to be able to connect in this way digitally across the globe.
That's great.
So yeah, maybe I'll give you guys a bit of a background about MyOvision, what we do, and like Richard said, our global ambitions. We've been in business for about 15 years. We have a headquarters in Canada in a place called Waterloo. And then we have a sales office that supports Europe and parts of the Middle East based in Cologne, Germany. Richard, do you want me to stop from time to time or?
You can go ahead.
Just keep going, okay. And so MyOvision provides products and services to cities all over the world. I think we sell right now into about 60 countries. And we basically provide systems to help cities measure the flow of traffic through intersection networks in cities, and then helps them understand what's happening and ultimately helps them to optimize traffic flow. There's 2 ways that as cities urbanize and more people move into cities and traffic gets more and more of a problem in cities, there's 2 ways that you can solve traffic. You can build more roads, or you can optimize the traffic flow on the roads that you have. And in lots of places around the world, I've been to China, China's no exception, you've sort of built as many roads as you can. There's so much density in the cities that really the only thing left to do is to optimize the flow of traffic. And that's where MyOvision comes in with sensors and technology that can, like I said, can help cities to understand and optimize the flow of traffic through cities.
So Curtis, I'm going to ask a small question, and before I translate, so you can prepare answer more. Is in China in particular, there are probably dozens, if not hundreds, companies are in that business, and I'm sure in other countries, in US, in Germany, especially, there are lots, traffic lights control technology companies. Why they are using you? Why you can go into 60 countries, 17,000 cities? why it make a difference? But before you answer, I will translate. 那么刚才 Curtis 先生介绍了一下他公司成立于15年前，那么公司呢总部位居于加拿大的滑铁卢大学旁边。那么现在的话呢，他已经去了60个国家，服务17000个城市。那么他呢刚才讲到，就是全球现在遇到一个交通堵塞的问题。那么解决交通堵塞主要有2种方法，一种是建更多的路，第二呢就是让这个车流量进行一个更好的规划和管理。那么呢，他认为中国的基建呢已经非常完善了，包括他到中国出差看到中国的这个路已经建得非常好，但是仍然交通堵塞非常严重，所以他认为这是一个巨大的市场机会。那么他们的技术和他们的云端还有他们的感应器可以很好的解决这个问题。那么 Curtis 呢刚才说这个就是他们的一个全球化的布局，他们呢在中东、在德国包括在这个美国都有这个研发团队，那么总部是在多伦多。Curtis, go ahead.
Yeah, so fundamentally, the industry, and this is true in North America, it's true in Europe, and I visited China, went to a trade show called Intertraffic China, and my experience, albeit limited, but my experience of the Chinese market is it's structured the same way as Europe and North America, but fundamentally, intersection infrastructure is built on electrical and sort of analog and serial architecture. So it's very, I like to say, you know, my 6-year-old once asked me, you know, what do you do for a job, Daddy? And I said, I make time machines, because essentially what we do is we digitize the infrastructure that even new infrastructure being installed today is based on technology from 1985. And we basically build like a digital layer that goes on top of that infrastructure, and then uses cellular networks and the cloud to connect those old 1985 infrastructure elements to the internet, where we can add intelligence and optimization. So it's true that we're doing something that lots of other companies do, in the same way that a smartphone was the same thing as the old phones with cords. But fundamentally, it was a different business model, and it enabled all sorts of different things. That's sort of how we are different than all the other companies that we compete with in the market.
Thanks, Curtis. That's amazing. So I will quickly translate that. 刚才呢，我问 Curtis 了一个问题，我说呢，中国的十字路口管控系统也好，或者说美国也好、欧洲也好、中东也好，都有非常多的公司在做。你们为什么能够攻城略地？跑到其他的国家还能做好政府的服务工程，你们的技术先进性到底在哪里？他说呢，他呢在去年还有前年呢，通过 Trade Show 来到中国出差，发现呢中国的十字路口的管控系统呢和美国的、欧洲的没有本质的不同。这些技术呢都是源于电子技术源于上个世纪80年代的一些原始的技术，甚至一些最新安装的系统也是这个技术。那么他们呢是用数字化，是用最新的云端的技术去提供下一代的一个解决方案。所以这样的话呢，他说他的6岁的家里的孩子问他说：“爸爸，你的工作到底是做什么？”他说：“我的工作是制造时间机器的，让这个世界呢进入下一个数字化这个云端化服务的一个时代。”所以他们的技术水平还有他们的服务理念，跟同行业比是全球最领先的。Thanks, Curtis. So I will turn the microphone to invisible microphone to Jason. Jason, I will ask a slightly different question. My mom is a doctor. I know Canadian medical education is great. There are hundreds of Chinese doctors are being currently trained in Toronto, Vancouver, and different hospitals. For instance, Margaret Hospital and in different medical Baycrest Hospital. So in your experience, why Canadian medical education is so good, and what MD Briefcase do to bring this Canadian education system to improve doctors and nurses, skills and the quality of services?
Thank you, Richard, and thank you, Mr. McCallum, for your opening address. I didn't think there was going to be a connection between Curtis's businesses of traffic flow and optimizing that But really what MD Briefcase does, it also optimizes the flow of information between healthcare practitioners and the leading key opinion leaders around the world. And although our business is based in Canada, it's an international business, and it's a knowledge translation business whereby MD Briefcase is a leader in building online education for physicians, nurses, and pharmacists in conjunction with the leading pharmaceutical companies around the world and medical societies around the world, so that practitioners, whether they be in Canada or Australia, Europe, the Middle East, or hopefully soon in Asia, and in China specifically, will be able to benefit from what MD Briefcase brings forward. And we've built this reputation over the course of the last 20 years, Richard. And so it's the combination of working with the preeminent pharmaceutical companies around the world, researchers and highly respected physicians around the world, that's allowed us to build a very strong reputation where our product is highly adopted and consumed by experts all around the world.
That's a very good reply. I like your metrophy. Let me briefly translate that. 听众朋友们，大家好啊！这个我不知道你们就是刚才 Jason 直接讲，你们听到了多少？我刚才问他问题就是说，那么 MD Briefcase 作为一个加拿大的医疗培训公司，为什么你们做的这么好？那么 Jason 的简单的回答呢是这样的，他说呢，他以前也没有想到过，作为 MD Briefcase 他的生意跟 Curtis、Mile-Vision 这种管理交通数据的公司有任何联系。但是他刚才突然想到一个很好的比喻，他说我们呢也是做管理的，只不过我们是管理信息流，把加拿大最优秀的这些医药企业，他们最新的医药产品、医疗器械产品的信息，交给数十万加拿大的医生、护士、药剂师，帮助他们获得最新的、最好的信息。那么经过20年的发展呢 ，MD Briefcase 已经变成了加拿大的行业领军企业，并且呢，已经进入了20个国家，开始服务国际的，不仅是加拿大的，还服务国际的医生、护士。所以呢，它是一个在线版的加拿大的白求恩。So Jason, I will add a small part there. I said you're an online version of Dr. Bassoon from Canada.
Sorry, Richard, I couldn't hear you. Say that one more time.
I said that you're online version of Dr. Bassoon, Norman Bassoon,
yes.
From Canada, which is probably the most famous Canadian doctor in China.
Yeah, we do have a number of very reputable key opinion leaders, and fortunate to work with world-respected experts like that.
Yes, amazing. So Jason, I understand that leading international business is a challenge, and your experience has been leading venture companies and public companies in the past. Probably you can just share a little bit of your personal experience and your feel of how MD Briefcase is going to continue expand internationally, especially why you're interested in going to the Chinese market.
Thanks, Richard, for the opportunity. So, very briefly, my background has been touching virtually every sector of the healthcare industry. I spent about 12 years working for Bayer and J&J, and then went on to be the CEO of a number of different organizations in the specialty pharma space, in the medical devices space, and then in the public markets, leading a personalized cancer medicines company. And then I was recruited to be the CEO of a private equity-backed company called MD Briefcase. It's a really fascinating opportunity, Richard, because the company is at an inflection point in its lifespan, and the growth opportunities are enormous. We've had significant penetration into the Middle East, in particular Saudi Arabia, UAE, and some of the other Gulf countries. And with a very strong base of business in Australia and all around the Middle East, we feel that now is the opportune time. As Mr. McCallum spoke to, politics will always be politics, but I think, good intentions and good business practices can overcome some of the differences that our political leaders may have. And right now, we think there's a tremendous opportunity to bring the expertise of MD Briefcase into China and to leverage what we have established as a best practices of building highly reputable content, highly credible content with the leading organizations around the world. And I think it's something that Chinese healthcare practitioners, physicians, pharmacists, and nurses are ready for. And we've seen that same consumption and appetite for the latest information in other developing markets.
Sure. Thanks, Jason. I will just translate the key part that 我刚才呢问的弗朗迪先生第二个问题，我说可否也简单介绍一下您本人的一些这个背景他呢本人呢是学药剂学的，那么呢在他毕业之后他呢就在医疗领域的各个行业上，在各个阶段，研发阶段、开发阶段还有销售阶段都从事过工作。那么他呢是最近2年前呢被这个私募基金支持的这个 MD Briefcase 把他给聘请了过来。那么他加入公司之后呢，就是帮助这个公司做国际化，尤其是中东市场，包括阿拉伯联合王子国，包括迪拜，包括澳大利亚。那么呢，他现在呢，经过非常不懈的努力因为我知道 Jason 他是出差非常频繁的包括过去6个月里边去中东，从多伦多飞到中东飞了3次，每次要飞20多个小时就是非常拼搏的一个企业家。那么他也讲了他对这些行业的一些看法。他认为呢，国际的政治，这个风云诡变，这个一会儿好一会儿坏，国家之间只有永恒的利益，没有永恒的朋友。但是他认为呢，医疗的培训然后还有这个国际化企业的发展是稳定的、持续的，这个是大家可以预期的。Okay, Jason, that's great. So I will move on to give my invisible microphone to Mr. K.
Sorry, Richard. I just sorry for interruption. I just want let all the audience know that they can ask questions all the time, and then we can answer the questions at the Q&A part.
That's brilliant. Yes.
OK. 你好，听众朋友。现在所有人对那个前大使麦嘉莲先生，就前中国加拿大驻华大使麦嘉莲先生，还有其他任何一位嘉宾的任何的哪一部分感兴趣，都可以随时在会议当中去提问。就是在屏幕下方有一个问答的地方，只要您在问答地方打上字，然后我们会收集到问题，最后在 Q&A part 去回答大家的问题。好，我就提醒到这里。
Okay, great. Thanks, Kelly. This is why team is always better than single man, especially a good female partner. Okay, so Mr. Kai, I know we know each other for almost 10 years. I know you travel to China a lot, and in today's audiences, there are first generation entrepreneurs. There's also young entrepreneurs who inherited from their family, their parents' success, are running real estate, are running trades, are running schools here in Toronto, Vancouver. I know you have been a very reliable source of intelligence and advisor for Chinese entrepreneurs. So assuming that you're sitting in front of 20 Chinese investors and entrepreneurs who want to do business here in Canada, and they may or may not know too much about the Canadian economic system or business system. What are the 3 or 4 things you really advise your partner? I know you're on board on a Chinese public company. So what will be the best help you can give it to them, or typical mistakes they would make in Canada? Especially Chinese Canadian business cultures are different. Probably in Canada we're so nice, right? Canadians are always nice people. In China it's super competitive. People have to be more aggressive. So what's your advice for those entrepreneurs when they trying to make an investment or doing business partnerships with Canadian companies? So just before you answer, I will quickly translate my question so they know the context. 听众朋友大家好，我刚才问了Robert K 先生一个问题。Robert K 先生呢，他除了当加拿大商业集团的董事长，还有安省的这个高级法院的兼职法官以外，他同时还是个律师，同时呢还给中国2家上市公司，2家在加拿大的上市公司做独立董事。所以我刚才给他的问题就是说， 我们的听众朋友里边呢，有中国的企业家，也有加拿大的2代的企业家，也有一些呢准备跟加拿大合作但还没有合作的，对加拿大不一定特别了解的。我说，因为中加的商业文化是不一样的，中国比较强调这种竞争啊、拼搏呀，加拿大的人这个比较关注生活节奏啊、生活方式，然后人也比较温和啊。那么我说，您一般给您的中国的合作伙伴，给您的中国企业家朋友一个什么样的商业建议 ？Yes.
Well, thank you, Richard. First of all, let me say what a privilege it is to be on such an august panel and to see John McCallum again, an amazing source of good advice. I just want to touch historically first on what John referenced as the long and warm relationship between Canada and China. I had the privilege many years ago, I hesitate to say how many, of being the personal assistant to Mitchell Sharp, who was the #2 man in the government of Pierre Elliott Trudeau, the current Prime Minister's father. And I was there when Minister Sharp, Foreign Minister Sharp, recognized, when the government of Canada recognized the government of the People's Republic of China. And that was 40 odd years ago, I believe, if my arithmetic is correct. So let me first of all say that those warm relationships are the warm relationships that we've developed over the years, particularly during the term of the former Prime Minister, Jean Chrétien, are significant in whatever business dealings Canada has with China and Canadians have with China and Chinese will have with Canada. These are significant and they should not be discounted because of a transient problem between our governments at the present time. So my advice, firstly, to the Chinese who are looking to invest in Canada is don't worry about the politics at the present time. Politics and business are separate. One may affect the other, but it's not a given. So let me just say that we should not feel impeded by current difficulties. I can say with confidence that I have been going to China 3-4 times a year over the last number of years, 14 to be exact. And I can tell you that that the Chinese business community is questioning but not terribly bothered by the current Canada-Chinese difficulties, political difficulties. And we should not impose on the business community the political ramifications of what is now occurring in the West. So that's
So basically, let me translate that part. I think that's an important message. 我就替 K 先生简单先翻译一下。他刚才呢就是先说了一下，就是非常荣幸和大使先生呢同台跟大家分享。那么因为他的职业时间比较长，他也认识我们现在加拿大的总理的父亲老特鲁多先生，他也提到了老特鲁多先生当时对中国政府还有对中国市场、对中国人民的热爱。所以呢，他认为呢，就是中加两国的友谊呢源远流长，并且第二点呢，他还给了一个非常重要的信息啊，这一点我非常认同，就是在加拿大政治和商业是分得蛮远的，在加拿大呢，政治和商业是分得很远，当然这两者之间是有关联的，但并不是一体化的。他不认为呢，我们就是说从商业角度，或者说从事这个创业的或者是投资的角度，不用过多的去关注加拿大的政治反应。所以从这一点上的话呢，我认为这个也是可能是中加的一个区别啊，因为中国政治商业是非常密切结合的，但是在加拿大它是分开的。
When I started working in and with China and Chinese business community 25 years ago, we were very fortunate in that not only do we have excellent Chinese partners, but we also had a resource being the trade representatives of the government of Canada in China as a source of cogent and reliable advice. And I would urge those Chinese business people who are thinking of coming to Canada to take advantage of the advice that is available to them. It's available in China through the Government of Canada trade representatives. It's available here in Canada through people like John McCallum and his firm Macmillan, which can be thoroughly dependable to provide real-time advice, which is something that you may hesitate to approach without an introduction. And that's why these kinds of webinars serve a very useful purpose. If I can urge the Chinese listeners, it would be to take advantage of the advice that is available to them both in China and in Canada.
It's amazing. Thanks, Mr. K. 那么刚才 Mr. K 先生他刚才讲的主要的核心意思呢，我觉得用我们中国的一个老话叫做从善如流，则良知而息。那么在中国也好，或者在加拿大也好呢，是有一些非常值得信任的合作伙伴包括大使麦克考伦先生他的这个律师事务所那么这些渠道的信息的获取会能够帮助中国的企业家节省很多的时间和弯路那么他呢认为呢，就是加拿大呢还是一个机会之地，欢迎大家呢到加拿大来投资。
And lastly, I would say, don't be afraid of creating offense to anyone by doing due diligence. Thoroughly check out your prospective partners, look for references, look for past performance, and I can assure you that Canadians will not take offense at the thoroughness of a background check.
This is so true. 他讲的最后一点呢，就是一个做金融的朋友经常听到的词叫尽职调查。这个跟我们中国文化其实有点相左我们中国是用人不疑，疑人不用。我们既然选定合作了，我们就不去做太多的工作了查好像不信任一样。但是呢，在加拿大这个文化环境里边呢，就再好的公司，再信任的朋友再好的项目，该做的这个流程不能省该做的这个尽职调查还是要去做。该问的问题，然后也要看这个 CEO 过往的一些经历，看他以往的一些业绩这些工作都要做到。我相信呢，就是作为加拿大企业，我这些年呢也服务中家企业也好，还有服务美国企业也好，我认为加拿大企业在这一点上是比较优秀的基本上加拿大企业比较喜欢把自己说的还没有就是说实际那么好大家一检查之后往往会有惊喜而不是惊吓。Okay, thank you, Robert. So I will turn to the microphone to Ambassador McCollum. So I know a fair number of attendees today here are listening to you. My question is as follows. In China, my number may not be accurate. There are probably 1,000 to 2,000 Canadian companies are doing business in China, and a lot of them are successful. Their most famous names such as IMAX, Canada Goose, most recently Tim Hortons, Brookfield. Brookfield made a huge investment in Shanghai. And there are many are very successful. Architects. So what's your telling of why some of the Canadian companies are so successful in China? So that Curtis and Jason, they can share some of the viewpoints from you, and also for those successful Canadian companies, when you had a chance to see their CEO, when you have a chance to meet their senior business executive, how you see they manage the business culture? China is so different from Canada. How they've been localized so successfully? I will translate my question first, and then you can reply. 我刚才呢 把话筒，我说把我一个不可见的话筒再重新递给大使先生。我说今天呢，因为在线的很多朋友和贵宾们是因为大使而上线的啊。我刚才问了他一个问题，我说呢，加拿大活跃的中国的企业呢，差不多有1000到2000家，其中呢不乏一些这个全国知名的品牌，包括加拿大鹅呀，包括 IMAX 电影院呀，包括最近比较火的 Tim Hortons， 还有可能很多朋友没有听说过，但是非常有实力的 Brookfield。等等，我说大使先生，您认为这些企业为什么在中国这么成功？他们做对了什么，能够让其他的加拿大的年轻企业家去借鉴 ？Go ahead.
Okay, well, thank you. Well, look, I think fundamentally you'll do well in China or anywhere else if you have a good product and if you communicate that to the people. And so I think some of our Canadian companies clearly have a good product and have communicated it. There's also a question of luck and timing. I told Tim Hortons 15 years ago they should go to China. So look at how well some of the others have done. So better late than never. I think they'll do well. But I think it's a question of communicating and having a good product. Canada Goose is a good example. And it's also a good example of friendship between the two countries, because right after Meng Wanzhou was detained, a few days after, they wanted to open their store. And the Chinese said, no, not yet, it's not a good time. But they insisted. And then they had so many security guards after opening the store. But it wasn't to protect themselves from angry Chinese people. It was to limit the huge lineups of people that wanted to buy Canada Goose coats. So that's an illustration that I don't think individual Chinese people have turned against Canada, even though there's problems between the two governments. And I'll just say one other thing, and that is what I always used to say to politicians and business people and premiers when I was ambassador is don't just come to China often. Because if you come to China one time, you'll meet somebody and it will be just a cup of tea. Second time, it's okay. Third time, you're la pengyo, old friends. So the repeated contact to establish relationships is really important. And there's one premier in particular, the Premier of Nova Scotia, who went to China all the time, through good times and bad. And partly as a consequence of that, his exports of lobsters have exploded. So it pays off. So those are a couple of points.
Thanks, John. That's amazing. OK， 我刚才问 John 呢，就是在加拿大企业在中国成功的关键是什么？他分享了3点。第一点呢，他说不论如何，无论是在中国还是美国还是欧洲，一定要有好的产品，好的产品、好的技术是成功的先决条件。第二点的话呢，他同时也举了个例子，他说加拿大鹅在中国这么成功，当时呢，中加之间的政治关系正处于紧张状态，但是呢，看到三里屯呢，这个买家仍然在排队，所以他能看到消费者也好，用户也好，对加拿大呢，并不是说因为政治而反感。第二点呢，他是说一定要到中国，不是说仅仅说来中国一次，而是要经常来中国。那么第一次来的时候只是喝杯茶，大家认识一下；第二次来的时候也没什么；第三次来的时候就是老朋友了。我觉得这个呢也比较符合我们中国人的文化，就是先交朋友后做事。那么这一点的话呢，我觉得大使先生呢应该讲到了我们中国商业文化的一个精髓啊，这个也是有道理的。Thanks, John.
Okay.
So we turn the microphone back to the starting point to Mr. McBride. You know, my old vision has been starting in Waterloo, and you know, probably a lot of people only think of Silicon Valley as you know, world intelligence for AI. I hope probably you can take the opportunity to make a small advertisement for, you know, Kitchener, Waterloo area as a global AI leader, and why, you know, Mel Vision's head office is there. It's not in Toronto, Vancouver, or New York or Chicago. What's the advantage? You build your company from there instead of somewhere else. 我刚才问 Curtis 先生的一个问题，就是说，关于加拿大的人才的一个优势。那么我们大家全球呢认为这个科技的 圣地就是硅谷啊，硅谷代表了应该说人工智能领域的一个高地。那么我说呢 ，My Vision 为什么把总部设在了滑铁卢 Kitchener？ 可能我们国内的很多朋友都没有听说过，或者是不是特别熟悉，只是知道那边有个不错的大学，滑铁卢大学不错啊。那么也请 Curtis 讲一下，就是为什么这个一个公司把总部设在滑铁卢，能够有这么强的一个全球的竞争力。Yeah, please go ahead, Curtis.
Yeah, for sure. It's a great question. So Waterloo is often referred to as Silicon Valley North, or the Silicon Valley of Canada. Waterloo, the region of Waterloo has one of the most prestigious universities in Canada called the University of Waterloo. It's a technical university, so it has engineering, computer science, mathematics, and it graduates probably 6,000 or 7,000 technical graduates every year out of the university. It also has a technology transfer policy that's very friendly for creating companies. Most universities lay claim to ownership of the intellectual property that comes from their researchers, but the University of Waterloo takes the view that researchers, including students, can own their own intellectual property, which makes it very easy for companies to create. So there's a long tradition of companies being created out of the university. But to put it in perspective, Google has their Canadian headquarters based in Waterloo. So Google has decided that Waterloo is the place they want to base, and because they think they can get all the talent they need, and we would tend to agree, and that's why we base there.
Excellent. So I will translate your 3 points. So Mike Brett 先生呢，刚才介绍了3点啊。第一点呢，他说 Kitchener 滑铁卢地区呢被称为北方小硅谷啊，北方小硅谷。那么加拿大都知道美国有个硅谷，那北方小硅谷就在滑铁卢市。第二点呢，他说用我们中国的一句话叫做“官不与民争”啊。滑铁卢大学呢，它之所以竞争力这么强，就是它允许它的研究员、允许它的教授、允许它的学生，通过大学的资源做的发明专利，可以自己去注册专利，而跟大学没有关系，它完全可以私有化。那么这个规则的话呢，也极大激发了大家的一个能动性啊，而不是说担心大学把手伸到这个专利上，然后呢没有足够的动力去把这个专利变成产品。这个是游戏规则上的一个先进性。第3点呢，就是一个本地的源源不断的一个人才储备。滑铁卢大学也好，还有就是周边的这几个优秀大学也好，理工科大学提供了相对来说高品质，并且呢这个对薪酬的要求不是特别高的这个一流的人才。那么这为公司下一步的一个全球发展也奠定了基础。另外呢，我自己的一个观察，我加一个观察，就是因为滑铁卢那边呢，它的国际化人才也比较多啊，我们的华人的同学毕业生啊，印度的，然后欧洲的。那么这样的话呢，一个公司如果在滑铁卢，它准备要全球化去扩张的话呢，内部的人才的力量是足够的。Okay, Jason. So, we know that the pharmaceutical companies they have many ways to deliver the information to nurses and doctors and pharmacists. And what's the reason they pay so much money to you, to MD Briefcase, to educate and to give these information to doctors and nurses? What's the unique model? What's the unique strategy? You become so reputable in front of those some pharmaceutical companies, and also being reputable in front of the doctors and nurses. It's almost like a natural interest, right? Because you're taking the capital from the pharmaceutical companies. At the meantime, you're being trusted by the global nurses and doctors, and you're duplicating this model not only in Canada but also in Australia, Europe, and the Middle East. So why and how you manage the conflict? How you manage this credibility with other parties?
It's a good question, Richard, and it's really
Jason. Sorry, I will just very quickly translate my question, so they know what you're saying. 我刚才问了弗朗蒂先生一个问题，就是他公司的模式是这样的，就是由医药公司付费给 MD briefcase， 然后 MD briefcase 拿着这个钱去把这些医药的产品、医疗器械的产品制作成护士和医生都能信任的信息，再免费提供给医生和护士，是这样的一个模式。那么我说这里边是有一个天然的矛盾体的。那么医生知道你是拿了这些商家的钱，为什么还能信任你？你是怎么解决这个矛盾的 ？OK, Jason.
Thanks, Richard. So as I was saying, it's a good question, and it's really been through the evolution of our business over the last 20 years and the relationships that we've established with essentially the educators of doctors and nurses and pharmacists across Canada. And so we work with the Royal College of Physicians and Surgeons. We work with the College of Family Physicians of Canada, and we work with similar types of regulatory and educating bodies around the world, because it's known that for-profit pharmaceutical companies will have an inherent bias in recommending their own medication. If we're talking about heart failure or we're talking about a cancer treatment, they're naturally going to want to suggest their medication. So what MD Briefcase affords those companies to do is to provide a buffered, third-party, credible resource for what is the latest information, what do the guidelines reflect as appropriate treatment. And so we're a clearinghouse for the latest, relevant, non-commercial information. And it's allowed us to build up a membership now of almost 1 million healthcare practitioners worldwide that come to our website for content that is current and related to the most prevalent and challenging diseases around the world. COVID just being one of the examples where we are seeing tremendous demand for new information.
Thank you, Jason, for the reply. That's very comprehensive. 刚才 Jason 先生呢给我们的回复就是这样的：他们在生产内容的时候，他们在制作信息的时候呢，是非常的注重跟全球最有公信力的这些机构合作包括 Royal College 皇家医学院包括加拿大的几个大学包括一些公立的和中立的一些政府机构。那么这些机构呢，他们做出来的内容是认真负责的，同时呢，医生呢也是能够获得这个最客观的一个表达。那么他也举了个例子，就是医生和护士还有药剂师呢，在他们的职业过程中，对最新的信息的需求是非常迫切的。尤其在最新的传染病，包括这次新冠病毒，那么医生、护士、药剂师，他们都需要获得最新的，并且是可以信赖的信息。到底什么药是有效的？到底哪个药的副作用是巨大的？而不是说只是看到政客去说，或者说看到这个一个媒体去说。那么这个时候作为一个负责任的一个公信力强的在线医疗教育平台，他们的价值就得到了体现。Thank you, Jason. So because of the time reasons, I feel we probably can proceed to reply some of the guests' questions. And some of the I can see the questions are pointing to different panelist speakers. So I feel this probably can address some of the time afterward. Okay, so Kylie, would you agree? If you agree, I will probably just read some of the questions so that we can take a best use of time. Okay, so.
Yeah, I agree. Go ahead. I just translate one question for Curtis.
Yes, the first question is that this question is that I'm from such and such a company. We know Chinese government after COVID is decreasing taxes and decreasing corporate costs and also decreasing logistic expenses. So government may hope to use intelligent logistic management system to decrease the overall society's costs. So I want to address the question to Mr. Curtis McBride. I want to know about your China development plan, your vision about China, and how you want to enter Chinese market.
Yeah, thank you for the question. So I've been, over the last 3 years or so, I've been to China twice. It was initially, the trips that I did were very much to try to understand and build relationships, but just to kind of learn about the market and learn about how it's the same and also how it's different than the North American and European markets. And in January of this year, we closed a large equity financing, $120 million Canadian equity financing. And one of the uses of funds is to further expand our international focus. And one of the markets that we're very seriously considering is China. As you can probably imagine, we would want to go into that market with partners as opposed to just going by ourselves. So I think one of the focuses for the second half of this year and into next year, depending on how long it is before we can all travel again, is to get serious about looking for one or more potentially partners in China. And the key things that we're looking for, one is channel. So being able to find a partner who can help us get in front of municipalities and the agencies that manage the traffic operations in cities in China. Two would be, we think it's going to take a fair amount of capital to scale in that market. So we have means, like we have the ability to invest, but we're looking for a partner who may want to share the risk and reward with us. So have some skin in the game over there as well. And then the third thing is looking for someone who can help us to navigate some of the data regulations and specifically around cloud. All of our products are cloud-based, so we want to make sure that we understand all the jurisdictional requirements to operate a cloud product that would be connected to public infrastructure in China. So looking for partners that can help us with one, two, or ideally all three of those things.
Okay, thanks, Curtis. I will just briefly translate. 首先呢 ，Curtis 介绍了他们今年的话呢，刚刚完成一个1.2亿加币的一个募资。那么其中呢一部分的资本呢，就是用于国际化的发展。他非常期待来中国。那么他在过去2年里边呢，来中国来了2次。那么也看到了中国市场的这个巨大的需求。那么他呢需要找到一个中国的合作伙伴，对云端服务有一定的认知，对政府资源有这个能够帮助他们进入这个相应的政府的渠道。那么他们来中国的话呢，是希望就是这个合作伙伴也能展现出来一定的实力和诚意那么如果他既有这个足够的实力，同时又能够帮到Melvin完成中国拓展的这些必要条件，那么就是他适合找的中国的战略合作伙伴。Okay, so there is a general question which is relatively broad. So I feel it's probably, let me split it between Mr. McCollum and Mr. K. So apparently there's a gentleman, I wouldn't say the name. So he said that he already made an investment in China for medical equipments and factory. So they are making medical masks and protective PPE equipments. So they are hoping to build a business in Canada, looking for a business channel. And his question has a two-part. One is, what will be your advice for him to expand in Canada? And the second question is, if he's going to invest into a mask factory in Canada, what will be the benefits he can potentially receive as government?
Well, from my point of view, there is a thrust now by both the federal and provincial governments to become self-sufficient in the supply of PPE, personal protection equipment, for frontline healthcare workers. So they are actively seeking individuals who want to invest and expand in this area. So you can do it one of several ways. You can find someone who is already in that field who wants to expand, or if you want to start your own enterprise, there are many agencies, both private and governmental agencies, that will assist, because there is a high priority for this at the present time. And what they are looking for is quality control. This is a problem which is ongoing, and they want to ensure the highest standards of quality by having it manufactured locally.
I could add something to that. As I said in my speech, one of my clients is trying to do precisely that at this time. That is to manufacture masks in Canada. And it is obviously a very welcome thing because, as was just said, Canada would like to become more self-sufficient in masks. But at the same time, we've had some negative experience about the quality of masks from time to time. And so the government is very strict in terms of ensuring that the masks are of the good quality, because obviously the lives of medical workers are at stake. If you have a lousy mask, you might die. So the government is very strict about that. But if the person with the question says, I've just been working in this area and I know the government has an interest, you can always, through Kelly, get hold of me and I can tell you more about it. But it's certainly a high demand area in Canada, but subject to strict quality controls.
Yeah, all of the, I'm on the board of Baycrest Geriatric and Research, and I can tell you that all of the personal protection equipment that we use is tested, independently tested, before we pass it out to the frontline staff.
Right.
Okay. That's both are very, I would say, very good pragmatic reply for this gentleman who's trying to build a business in Canada. I should say thank you. I hope he really comes to build the factory in Vancouver. 这位先生呢，我不知道您现在是否还在线。如果您在线的话呢，我就想简单的跟您表述一下他们二位的一个核心的信息啊。第一点呢，就是强调质量。如果您是从国内往加拿大出口口罩的话，质量是优先的。那么Robert K 先生的话，他也是 Baycrest 是加拿大这边最好的一个脑部和这个研究老年人这个老年痴呆相关的一个医院的董事，独立董事。那么他们从国外买到口罩之后，无论是哪个国家啊，那么他们都要经过自己的医院的独立的测试，再分发给护士和医生。所以他认为您在加拿大建厂，自己去加工，是一个非常好的事情。这样呢，就是你的质量标准还有你的信誉，一开始就能得到加拿大政府的认可。那么回到就是最早的一个问题，就是您从国内进口到加拿大之后怎么卖啊？那么这块的话呢，就是特别强调质量。刚才大使也是强调，就是说您的产品只要质量过硬，在加拿大一定有市场。OK， 没问题。Okay, we see another question for Mr. Jason Flonde. So it's asking about cloud technology. So probably you can share some of the technology that MB Briefcase are using. Does that, I can imagine there's so much of videos, contents. Some are probably proprietary, highly confidential information. You don't want to go into public space. So what kind of technology platform MD Briefcase is using, and how you manage so much information online for so many different practitioners?
Sure. So everything that resides in our learning management system is cloud-based and secured and backed up with lots of redundancy built in. And so as we move into one jurisdiction after another, like Curtis said, we look for partners that have existing infrastructure and experience and relationships that can help us establish, the proper environment for our cloud-based technology. But essentially, at the end of the day, our core value proposition is building educational content in a manner which is interactive, engaging, and objective for the learner. But it is all cloud-based, and it is at times available to all of our members worldwide. But in some instances, we do make certain content specifically just for certain users, and we have the ability to provide settings and access specific to those groups.
刚才呢，他呢就是说到了2点啊。第一点的话呢，他强调就是在国际化发展的过程之中，希望呢合作伙伴呢对在线服务、对在线基础设施有一个基本的理解和一个基本的技术的一个保障啊。那么这一点的话呢，会是极大的加速这个合作的成功效率啊。第二点呢，他们公司的核心的竞争力，并不是说在技术上去进行跟别人 PK， 而是生产内容的一个能力好的，因为时间的缘故的话呢，我相信呢，这个大家也有可能这个稍微有点这个疲劳啊。今天呢已经超出我们原来计划的这个时间，已经超出将近半个小时啊。我看到我们在线的听众还是非常的稳定，我想呢也给每一位嘉宾一个简单总结发言的机会啊。然后呢，我们就此结束本次的这个webinar. Okay, gentlemen. So right now, I think we're making very good progress. It's exciting. We are half an hour more than we originally planned, but we keep almost the same people we started at the beginning. So I suggest each of us probably can make a closing call for our audiences in a way that you hope to express freely. And could it be in a way to make a further introduction to your company, or giving a key message for the Chinese entrepreneurs, investors who want to do business in Canada, who want to work with the Canadian businesses. I hope this is a freestyle, friendly conversation. Thanks. Mr. McCollum, feel free to go ahead.
Okay, well, I won't say very much. I think I said most of what I had to say in my speech. But as I said, I thought I was very pleased to be included in this, and I thought we had a very good discussion. Perhaps I'll just make one point building on comments by Robert Kay. In fact, the anniversary of Canada-China diplomatic relations is 50 years ago. 1970. So we are now in the 50th anniversary year, October 13th.
Wow.
So October 13th of this year is a very important date because Canada diplomatic relations preceded and helped bring about US-China diplomatic relations. And so it'd be nice if we could solve our Canada-China problems soon, and then we could have a big celebration of that 50th anniversary. So I will leave it at that, but just to repeat myself, to say that I think the future for Canada-China business relations and commercial relations and all other kinds of relations is not always easy, but it's a positive one. And so I am optimistic for the future. Thank you.
Thank you, Ambassador. Patty 小姐肯定翻译的比我好啊，我就简单复述一下大使的话。他说刚才呢想重复一下 Robert K 先生一开始点评到的中加的友谊源远流长。他说中加之间的建交到今年2020年的10月13号正好是50周年纪念日，所以呢今年的10月13号是非常重要的一个日子啊，请大家记住。那么呢中国和加拿大建交时间比中国和美国，当然我们新中国啊这个建交的时间还要长。所以他认为呢，中加之间的友谊和中加之间的合作的潜力是无限的不要被短期的一些挑战和短期的一些挫折所过度的担忧啊。他说他今天呢也非常高兴啊，然后呢也有机会呢跟大家分享了他那心里话啊，然后呢期待跟大家有更多的交流的机会。Yes, so we maybe turn backward to Mr. Robert K. So what do you hope to share with the rest of the audiences? Some are Canadian-based, Canada-based young entrepreneurs and business leaders. Some are China-based older and more successful entrepreneurs.
Well, first of all, my thanks to John for making me feel older than I already am.
Oh, yeah.
I should have known that because I had the privilege of being in Ottawa at the 40th anniversary celebration of the commencement of bilateral relations between Canada and the People's Republic of China. So first of all, let me say thank you for being part of such an august panel, allowing me to participate with such an august panel. Secondly, I applaud what Ambassador McCallum said. And what I can say is that don't be discouraged by initial delay or failure. It's a learning curve for many Canadians to do business with Chinese entrepreneurs. So it's a two-way learning curve. We have to learn from each other. And as long as we have good intent with integrity on both sides, I think that's a good recipe for success. And again, I will repeat what I started with. Don't let politics get in the way of business.
Thank you. 刚才 K 先生呢，讲了3点都比较铿锵有力啊。我尽量精细的还原他讲的。他讲的第一点的话，就是做任何的创业和企业，尤其在跨境的时候呢，遇到的挫折、遇到的困难呢，不足为惧，这个是非常正常的啊。关键是我们坚定的信念，有一个长远的眼光啊，坚持去做。第二点呢，他说，对于初次跟加拿大企业家合作、跟加拿大企业合资、跟加拿大做事的朋友们，你们不用担心一开始遇到的挑战。那么加拿大的企业家呢，是抱着公正、正直的心态和一个向好的心去做事的。那么只要这一点在，只要我们双方都是向好的去做，中间的文化的不同、语言的不同，这些困难都是可以被克服的。他想最后一点再加一点，就是也是他一开始说的这个主要的观点。今天希望中加之间的商业的合作、投资的合作、创业的合作，不要因为政治的短期的一个波动而受到影响啊，这个跟商业没有关系。Thanks, Robert. So we'll come down to Jason. Feel free to share the last statement.
Thanks, Richard, and thank you to all of the panelists and all of our guests today and this morning in China. I guess I want to leave you with one parting thought, and that, you know, the pandemic, which has really distracted much of the world and created a lot of chaos, has created a tremendous number of opportunities for a lot of different companies. And MD Briefcase is one company where at the beginning we were uncertain as to how this would impact our business. And I think it's really shown us the value of distance learning and being able to convey high quality, accredited educational content, irregardless of where you are around the world. And our biggest focus in 2020 is the expansion of our business into China. And so we welcome those types of discussions with investors and partners who have a similar interest to bring in some of the leading technologies and relationships that MD Briefcase has, if that's of similar interest. And we've had tremendous success in more than 20 countries around the world, and we look forward to leveraging that in these uncertain times for the benefit of both healthcare practitioners and patients. Thank you, Richard.
Thank you, Mr. Flondy. Jason 他想表达的就是说，跟大家分享一下2020年 MD Briefcase 的一个企业发展计划。这个计划呢，最主要的就是要进入中国市场。那么作为在线教育的魅力，就是不论世界多么的变化，不论交通多么的不方便，不论这个疫情大家不能出门，在线教育都能够，无论您身在何地，都能够随时随地的给您提供最高质量的信息的服务。那么他呢也希望能够把加拿大的最好品质的技术平台、信息平台，还有医疗的这些信息提供给中国的同行， 那么如果今天的听众朋友有希望跟 MB-Briefcase 合作，尤其是讨论中国市场的，他非常欢迎。在此可以表达对中国市场的一个坚定的信心。谢谢各位。Okay, lastly to Mr. McBride. So feel free to make the final closing statement for today's webinar.
Thank you, Richard. Thanks for the opportunity to participate today, and thank you for everybody who made the time on the call. You know, I think, I mean, I've covered a lot of ground. I guess maybe the one thing I'll leave us with is that I think I've traveled a lot and you know, sold into lots of different countries, and I think I always say that the things that bind humans together that are sort of common for all of us is a love of soccer, a love of beer, and a dislike of traffic. And my experiences traveling to China, certainly there's lots of traffic, there's lots of opportunity in China. There's lots of traffic congestion that we would love to help solve at some point. And if there's anyone on the call who thinks that they might be a good partner for us commercially or otherwise, I would love for them to get in touch with us through Richard, and we'd love to chat with you in terms of how we might be able to help bring what we do to Chinese cities.
Thanks, Curtis. It's a great metaphor. I will quote that myself next time. 刚才 McBride 先生讲得很精彩啊。他说，首先非常感谢大使先生，thanks for the opportunity。然后呢，也很感谢各位听众朋友的宝贵时间啊，国内是上午时间。他说呢，他因为这个行业呢，经常需要出差，去了全世界很多的地方。他总结了一点，全球人民有3点是一样的，都是很喜欢啤酒，很喜欢足球，并且很痛恨交通堵塞。那么他认为这一点呢，加拿大人跟中国人是完全一样的。他也希望呢，能够通过这次沟通，我们中国潜在的合作伙伴呢，对 Melvin 对 Curtis 本人呢，对他们公司的简介有一个初步的认知。他也期待呢，这个能够通过我们能够这个找到合作的找到最佳的合作伙伴，也期待能够早日进入中国市场。Okay, so thank you so very much again. So Kylie, would you have some final word to say? I'm sure you have something to say as well. Probably both of us should thank John, Robert, Curtis, and Jason so very much from the bottom of our heart. Thank you for the inspiration speech for our audiences. And I know, you're among the business political leaders who knows China the best in Canada and who have the faith and the passion for Chinese people. And your sharing and expression of confidence in Canada-China friendship is very much appreciated and so important at this time. Kadi, do you want to have a concluding remark as well?
Sure. Again, thanks all the guest speakers today, and thanks for sharing all your valuable ideas, opinions. And I got lots of really good feedback from the audience on my end, on my side, and I will maybe share with it later with Richard and see how to reach you guys. And special thanks for my chairman, John McCollum. Thank you. I hope to see you soon in Ottawa. In Toronto, and maybe in July or August. 我刚才就说总结，就是我们今天感谢一下所有今天来我们这里的嘉宾，非常感谢他们有价值的演讲和观点，为我们解决了很多的一些答案和问题。我没有别的可说的了，现在就是这样。感谢 Richard 今天非常 excellent 主持，非常棒的主持 ，You did a great job. Thank you, Richard.
I'm here to serve everybody. I'm the least important person here. So if you don't mind, I will say a short piece of Chinese as a concluding remark for those who don't understand English. 我想最后呢，再感谢各位的宝贵时间，也用 世界首富贝佐斯的一句话来作为今天的一个总结，就是在多变的世界里边，成功的关键是找到那些不变的东西。在风云诡变的世界里边，成功的关键是找到那些不变的东西。我认为不变的东西对中加友谊来说有2个是不变的。第一个不变呢是，我们在加拿大的200多万华人、华侨留学生对故乡的爱，对中国文化的这种深切的感情，对服务中加企业合作这种激情，不会受到任何的困难的打击和影响，这一点大家尽可以放心。那么我们呢是无冕的中国驻加拿大大使，作为一个群体只要有这群移民群体的在，中加的关系不会出问题。那么反过来，作为加拿大的企业家，加拿大的经济体，它是一个小的经济体，是一个高质量经济体，它的国际化发展是不可阻止的。那么加拿大的企业对中国市场的热情，对中国人民的向往，还有对中国的友谊也不会发生变化所以在这个关键的时候呢，我希望也跟大家分享，就是我们加拿大的这些领军的企业、高科技企业服务企业，还有这个我们加拿大的驻中国的前大使然后让大家看到我们加拿大的对中国的友谊。所以呢，我在这里呢也想感谢一下白可女士作为郑和岛加拿大的分部的负责人，给我们带来了这么好的精彩的资源这个也感谢你这次邀请一些贵宾上线Okay, so thanks everyone again. Hope everyone in Canada have a great night, and in China have a great, lovely day of the Sunday. And hope to see you guys all in person after COVID. Thank you again, Mr. Collum, and your speech is very memorable. Well, I will write some notes after.
Richard, I just want to thank you for your excellent bilingual moderating. And Kelly, of course, I'd be very happy to see you in Toronto when it's possible. And thank you as well to my fellow panelists and to the audience.
Thank you. Yes.
Have a good night. Have a good day.
Thank you, Mr. K. Yeah, bye-bye.